Good evening. Tonight on News Central, controversy stirs over Mayfest Mountain Jam, and a flood warning is in effect. I'm Emily Inman, filling in for Joe Ismont.
And I'm Jayne Hodak. We'll also have the latest information concerning the ROTC, and area taxpayers may approve new millages. We'll have all this, including Heidi Dunaway with weather, and Spence Johnston with sports when News Central continues.
This is where they partied, where Denise met Michael. They danced, they joked, they did a little crack, and went up here, where she took the wrong step that ended everything. Only she doesn't know it yet. Drugs make you forget, and if you forget how risky sex can be, you could catch the AIDS virus and not know it for years. AIDS, another way drugs can kill.
Mayfest, the annual Mid-Michigan Spring Celebration, may have hit another snag. The executive board in charge of organizing Mayfest has not yet scheduled a permit to hold the show at Winslow Field, the scheduled site for the April 27th event. David Lavadier, supervisor of the Morton Township Board, says a temporary permit was issued in January for the purpose of organizing parking, restrooms, and sheriff approvals. But a permit to hold the show at the site has not been issued as of yet. The committee's building and electrical setups need to pass inspection. Mayfest committee member Peter Kehoe says that the board has not been issued a permit, but that it has been approved. He added, quote, "That means they have to issue it to us." Another committee member declared the show will go on, but declined further comment. The Township Board will meet tomorrow at 7 p.m. in Morton Township Hall to decide the issue. For more information about Mayfest, join Ski Anderson on Crosstalk tonight at 10 o'clock on MHTV, channels 2 and 34, and 91 Rock FM.
Should the ROTC program remain on Central Michigan University? Well, the motion to phase out the ROTC program failed today and was voted down 28 to 22. News Central's Barb Hegwood has more on the story.
I agree with the military policy as far as the exclusion of homosexuals in the program. And I disagree with the way the academic senate is going about trying to change the policy. If they want to change DOD or government policy, the way to do it is through the local state representatives and through the congressmen and senators, not by ROTC out of campus. They hurt a lot of people when they do that.
A group of about 200 people gathered today in Pierce Hall to discuss the subject of abolishing the ROTC program off of Central Michigan University's campus. Faculty, students, and administrators joined together to debate the solution for the
They might have a legitimate claim, but they're going about it the wrong way. ROTC has no power to commission homosexuals, and that's Congress's policy. It's been Congress's policy for 50 years. And in discriminating against those cadets that want a commission out of Central, it's just in turn discriminating against another group. They're going about this completely wrong.
I have nothing against the ROTC. I have something against the U.S. military policy not allowing gay and lesbians in the military. I think it is oppression, and any way you call it is simply oppression.
The subject of the debate was the abolishment of the ROTC program due to discrimination against homosexuals. Barb Hegwood, News Central.
If you live on the Chippewa River, you should keep an eye out on your window. A flood warning is in effect for the river. Early this morning, the river's level was reported at 9.2 feet and rising. The National Weather Service in Ann Arbor predicts the Chippewa River will rise to nearly 11 feet by tomorrow. The river's level already exceeds its flood stage of 8 feet. According to Bruce Papps, CMU geography professor, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico is responsible for the heavy rains, causing the normal 2.97 inches of April rain to swell to 3.05. No smoking in Isabella County? That's the goal of a group that calls itself the Isabella County Tobacco Reduction Coalition. Organized in January of this year, the group plans to be educational as well as active in banning smoking. The group is planning to pass ordinances and encourage businesses and industries to become tobacco-free areas. A majority of the group's members are healthcare professionals, and one of their goals is to publicize the negative effects of tobacco use. Due to the rise in the number of young women smokers, the group's educational efforts will target females. Coalition Chairperson Helen Lee says smoking is becoming more of a health concern. Lee says there is evidence of this in the increased number of people who now request non-smoking areas in public places when they previously expressed no preference. The Isabella County Tobacco Coalition will meet tomorrow at 3:30 in Room F of Central Michigan Community Hospital. For more information about the coalition, call 773-5921.
Mount Pleasant taxpayers are asked to approve 2 millage renewals. According to Superintendent Robert Johnston, the millages are needed for the coming year to support current programs. On Monday, the Board of Education approved the renewal of 4 mills and a separate 1 mill ballot for repairs and improvements in the district. These proposals would be placed on Mount Pleasant's June 10th election ballot. The millage renewals would last 5 years, expiring in 1995. Business manager Tom Korn says 5 more mills would generate approximately $1.7 million a year.
Today, Governor John Engler signed a new bill into law that will allow tenured faculty at Michigan colleges and universities to continue teaching even after they turn 70 years old. Here is Rebecca Small with the story.
I like the idea. I think it's desirable. There's skills that are locked into people who've had some experience in teaching. I've been here myself for 28 years, and I've got another 12, 14 before I hit 70. But, you know, I like it, and at the same time, I don't think that it's as unfair as it might have been had the population of the nation continued to grow at the rate that it was in the 30s and 40s and 50s when this law was in place.
Dr. Kaiser told us why the law was originally put into effect.
See, it was really designed to protect younger people from being simply kept out of senior positions by virtue of let's say an aristocracy of the aged, and because there were more and more people coming up, younger people. But although that's the case now, at the same time, our population is growing older. It's generally shifting to an older median.
Rebecca Small, News Central.
Today, a new bill freezing property taxes will be up for renewal by the House of Representatives. Governor John Engler says the freeze would be a first step towards the 20% property tax cut. This freeze would save property taxpayers about $396 million this year and another $873 in 1992. Engler says schools may be reimbursed, at least in part, but he is less committed to giving money back to municipalities. The focus is on saving money for taxpayers. On Thursday, the Senate approved the bill 33-0, and local leaders say they expect political pressure to prevent the House from rejecting the proposal. And when News Central continues, in national news, the U.S. will feel the deepest tax bite yet.
And in world news, James Baker is trying to organize a Middle East peace conference. Stay with us.
Today, the Dow Jones closed up at 53.71 points with heavy positive trading. The volume was 214 million shares. Gold prices were unchanged at $360.25, while silver prices went up 3 cents at $4.03.
And the beat goes on.
Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say.
The power of teaching.
They're the ones who's coming up, and the world is in their hands. When you teach the children, teach them the very best you can. The world won't get no better if we just let it be.
The power to wake up young minds. The power to wake up the world. Teachers have that power. Reach for it. Teach.
Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen.
Reach for the power. Teach. I'm Edward James Olmos, and we're recruiting new teachers. For information, call 1-800-45-TEACH.
When you teach the children.
We're five bad brothers from the Beantown land.
We need to break just to make it today.
If you thought the tax bite hurt when filing your taxes last year, well, get ready for next year's, because researchers say the tax bite for 1991 will be the deepest yet. On the average, United States taxpayers will work a record 128 days between the dates of January 1st and May 8th to earn enough money to pay all their 1991 federal, state, and local taxes, says the Tax Foundation, a nonprofit Washington organization. But in Michigan, residents will have to work an extra 4 days to pay their taxes, mostly because state and local taxes are higher than average. According to the Tax Foundation, tax increases will outpace the growth in individuals' income during 1991. Income is likely to rise only 3.7% this year, while the total tax burden is expected to increase by 6.6%. In an average 8-hour workday, Americans will labor 2 hours and 49 minutes to pay their taxes, which is 5 minutes more than last year. Also, the cost of maintaining a home will be down 3 minutes a day to 1 hour and 23 minutes. Healthcare will cost 46 minutes a day, and the cost of food will decline 1 minute to cost 57 minutes. Also, in national news, yesterday the Globe, a tabloid newspaper, published a photo and the name of the victim in the alleged assault at the Kennedy estate in Palm Beach, despite a Florida law prohibiting the disclosure of rape victims' identities. But Wendy Henry, editor of the Globe, said the woman's identity was published because her name and a photograph have been released in other parts of the world and because of public interest. The publication of the woman's name and her photo could set a court confrontation over the law. In 1989, a United States Supreme Court decision overturned a verdict against a Jacksonville Weekly newspaper that claimed it inadvertently published a victim's name. The decision said newspapers may be punished for publishing names of women who report a rape that were obtained from court records only when publication would violate a state interest of the highest court. That language left it to courts to interpret whether publication is illegal. Palm Beach police have identified William Kennedy Smith, a medical student and nephew of Senator Edward Kennedy, as a suspect. William Kennedy Smith has denied attacking the woman, and charges against him have not yet been filed.
U.S. Secretary of State James Baker is pushing for a regional peace conference in the Middle East. Baker went to that region last Friday. Baker believes now is a good time to start pushing forward.
5+ hours, maybe 6 hours of meetings with the Prime Minister of Israel, and even additional hours meetings with the Foreign Minister of Israel and the Defense Minister of Israel. That's what gives me the hope that perhaps Israel is ready to move forward. And let me say that I've also had extensive meetings with Arab leaders, and I got the same sense from them. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and we will continue to explore, and we will continue to look at the differences that exist, see if we can narrow those differences, and if we can, fine, maybe there'll be some hope, and if we can't, then we'll have to fall back and take another look.
South Africa's two major black liberation organizations met Monday. Leaders of the African National Congress are trying to end 32 years of bitter and sometimes even violent differences. These leaders have pledged to forge a common front to end white minority rule. Divided black groups in South Africa seem to have lost interest in politics. These black groups have allowed the white minority government to set the agenda for talks. Continuing violence in black communities has jeopardized a start of formal negotiations to bring about majority rule in South Africa. ANC Deputy President Nelson Mandela says it's the division of the oppressed that will determine how long the oppressor will continue to rule. In most instances, the township violence has been between supporters of the ANC and the Inkatha Freedom Party. Occasionally, fighting between supporters of the PAC and the ANC have erupted. Heidi, the day was really pretty today. What can we expect for tomorrow?
Tomorrow should be even nicer, in fact, with a high of 60 degrees. And looking for Thursday, we should have weather much like today. I'll have more weather when New Central returns.
Husband's going to make sure that you get home safe.
18 months ago, this woman lived every woman's worst nightmare. Where do you go to put the pieces back together? She got help at a rape crisis center. They got help from the United Way. Thank God, the United Way got help from you. The United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
Sports Live, Mount Pleasant's only live sports talk show. See interviews with Central Michigan athletes and coaches, as well as hear in-depth discussions of the hot topics in the world of sport. Join Kevin Graham, Mickey York, Merrill Kane, and Todd Schultz as they give their opinions, discuss, and sometimes argue on all aspects of sports. Sports Live, every Monday and Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, only on MHTV, cable channels 2 and 34. It will knock you out.
Currently in Mount Pleasant, the temperature is 55 degrees. The high today was 61 and the low was 40. The barometric pressure is at 29.91 and winds are from the west at 23 miles per hour. The sun should set today at 8:23 p.m. Taking a look at the national map, on the northwest coast, we still have a bit of precipitation. It was 61 degrees today in Portland, Oregon. And moving down the coast, it gets a little bit drier. It was 68 degrees and dry in San Diego. Taking a look at Texas, it was 91 degrees today in Dallas-Fort Worth. And moving on to the Central Plains and the southern states, temperatures were in the 80s throughout most of them. It was 83 today in New Orleans and 82 in Savannah, Georgia, 85 degrees in Fort Myers. Moving up the coast, temperatures get a little bit cooler. Temperatures remained in the high 60s to low 70s on the northeast coast. And up in Bangor, Maine, we had a little bit of snow and it was 48 degrees there. Taking a look at the Midwest, temperatures are in the 60s, 63 in Detroit, Michigan, 68 in Chicago. And if we take a closer look at Michigan, you can see what's in store. Although today was dry, we have had a lot of rain in the past week. 1 to 2 inches of rain have fallen each day since Saturday. And since April 1st, the state has averaged 3 inches of rain, which is 2 times the normal amount. And it should remain dry for today and tomorrow, but we are looking for some more rain into the weekend. Taking a look at the Upper Peninsula, there was a bit of precipitation in Sault Ste. Marie with a little bit of rain and freezing rain and snow. 39 degrees in Escanaba. Moving down towards the Lower Peninsula, it was 46 with some cloud cover in Alpena. 44 in Houghton Lake. It's currently 55 and partly cloudy in Mount Pleasant. And in the Detroit area, there was a lot of cloud cover and it was 63 degrees. Taking a look at the forecast for tonight, it's going to be partly cloudy with a low of 35 to 40 degrees. And for tomorrow, we should have sunny skies with a high of 60. And also for Thursday, it should be partly cloudy with a high of 45. There will be a chance of rain.
Thank you, Heidi. Spence Johnston will be up next with the wide world of sports.
Magic Johnson put his name in the NBA record books last night, and the Wings will try to move on to the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'll have these stories and more when News Central continues.
Welcome to Crosstalk on MHTV and 91 Rock FM. Crosstalk, the show that addresses the current issues that face you as a Central Michigan University student or resident of Mid-Michigan.
How, you as president, how do you perceive your relationship with the students?
I think basically it's a good one.
Crosstalk, the show that addresses the current issues that face you as a Central Michigan University student or resident of Mid-Michigan.
You begin with raw steel. Shape it with fire, muscle, and sweat. Polish it to razor-sharp perfection. We're looking for a few good men with a medal to be Marines.
This month on the Movie Channel. The Anytime You Want One channel. This month is National Cable Month on the Movie Channel.
Well, Spence, a lot is going on in Detroit sports, but so far the Red Wings seem to be the hottest topic.
Yes, but before we go to the Wings, the Pistons return to the parquet floor tonight as they travel to the Boston Garden to take on the Celtics. The world champs hold a one-game lead over the Milwaukee Bucks for second place. The Pistons are coming off a huge loss to Indiana, 125-107. At the Forum in LA last night, Magic Johnson put his name in the record books, surpassing Oscar Robertson as the all-time assist leader in the NBA. As we join the action at the Forum in LA, Magic Johnson splits the defense and dishes off to AC Green to pull within one. Here, Johnson finds James Worthy. He is now tied Oscar Robinson. Magic will now drive up right side, and he will find Terry Teagle, and Teagle hits the shot, and Magic is now the new-time assist leader. Magic had a tearful thank you to say to his parents and fans.
I just want to thank you and tell you that I love you so much. And to Mom, thank you too. And the last but not least, thank you fans for coming out every night and supporting me. So thank you.
After the thank you, Magic and the Lakers went on to beat Dallas 112-106. Elsewhere in the NBA last night, Michael Jordan scored a season-high 46 points as the Bulls soared past Milwaukee. The Kings lost their 35th consecutive road game as Sacramento was pounded by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Houston got by Seattle. Otis scored 28 points and had 14 boards to lead the Rockets. As history was being made in the NBA, a college coaching legend was saying his goodbyes. Notre Dame head coach Digger Phelps announced his retirement yesterday. Phelps, 49, led the Irish to 6 consecutive NCAA tournament bids before his team skidded this year, going 20-12. Digger had these parting words to say to the Irish today in South Bend, Indiana.
Game of life. Between the ages of 50 and 60, one better attempt the other challenges because things change between the age of 60 and 70. I want to live that other life after basketball at Notre Dame.
The Toronto Blue Jays were in Motown last night to visit the Tigers. Todd Stottlemyre was on the mound for the Blue Jays, and here he takes down the murder row of the Tigers. But maybe we won't see. Oh, here we go. There is Todd Stottlemyre taking down Petey Drodder, excuse me. He says, see you later, take a seat. And there goes Cecil Fielder to take the same fate. Stottlemyre had 8 Ks in the night. Here, Kelly Gruber takes it down the left field line, and he doesn't know what to do. Should he go, is it a home run or is it a double? The umpire says, go home, Kelly. And the Jays are up 4-2. Lou Whitaker in the 7th, gone. It's in the upper depth, in the cheap seats. It is now 3-4 Tigers, and that is the final. Elsewhere, Brooke Jacoby's HR was all Cleveland needed as the Tribe downed the Bo Sox in extra innings. The White Sox remain baseball's only unbeaten team, downing New York. Sam Horn nailed a grand slam as Baltimore drilled Milwaukee. Jose Canseco's home run lifted Oakland past California, and Seattle defeated Minnesota on former Tiger Tracy Jones' home run. In the National League, Pedro Guerrero's 2 home runs moved St. Louis past Montreal. Chicago edged out Philadelphia as Andre Dawson hit his first round tripper of the year. Howard Johnson drove in 4 runs as New York pounded Pittsburgh. Rookie Jeff Bagwell nailed his first major league dinger as Houston dropped Atlanta. And Ted Powers' wild pitch in the 11th allowed San Diego to defeat Cincinnati. Oh, and one more score. Los Angeles was 1 better over San Francisco. The Detroit Red Wings return to the ice tonight in St. Louis to try to knock off the St. Louis Blues. The Wings will have their hands full as the Blues have held the Wings scoreless in their past 2 games. The series is tied at 3, and tonight's winner will meet up with Minnesota. And that will do it for sports tonight, Jane.
Well, thanks a lot, Spence. And finally tonight, the University Theater presents Eric Overmeyer's play On the Verge in Bush Theater. The play follows the adventures of Mary, Fanny, and Alex, 3 Victorian-era explorers who embark on an expedition through geography and chronology. Let's take a look at a scene.
I slept not a wink.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Fascinating aspire imagery. I long to learn more about Willie and the Hand Jive.
From what little I could fathom, the future seems a dubious prospect. I beg your pardon.
Wrong.
Are you contradicting me, young lady?
College Bowl, State 420. The future's not a dubious prospect. The future is just a ball of cherry.
Mary, you must locate a translator. Alexandra will soon be totally incomprehensible.
Fanny, the future's now.
Alexandra, I would elude the future if I could.
Fanny, you must embrace it with all your heart.
Why? Why? Why?
Fanny, you sound like a broken record. A busy signal. A car alarm.
Alexandra. I must accept the future, Alexandra, as I accept the existence of cyclones, pit vipers, and bad grammar. But you would have me embrace them? Yes, you would. Cyclones, pit vipers, bad grammar.
In a way, yes.
You are a feckless child.
And you, Fanny, you are so square.
I have seen the future.
The play starts tomorrow and goes through April 20th. Tickets are available now at the Bush Theater box office. And that takes care of it for us here at News Central Tonight. Tune in tomorrow when Steve and Betsy will have Wednesday's latest update. Good night.